Hello and welcome back to another episode of Mr. Miller's Art Room. Today we have our Chinese dragon. It is in black and white. We utilized Sharpie in order to create these lines. Sharpie is a permanent ink, which means that it's not going to get washed away with any kind of water. We are going to be utilizing watercolor today in order to color our dragon. Now there are many different choices of colors that you can use in order to color your dragon, and many different kinds of materials. Today we're going to be utilizing some Crayola watercolor packs. I'm going to show you one that I've got right here. Usually these packs come with lots of different colors. We got black, red, orange, the whole rainbow, and then brown. They also usually come with a pretty decent brush. What we're going to do is we're going to get this watercolor pack, a brush, and a cup of water. And I'm going to talk to you about some best practices.
Best practices, Mr. Miller? What are best practices?
A best practice is typically the best way to go about doing some kind of thing. In this particular case, when we paint. First things first, what we want to do is when we first get our brush, make sure that you wash your brush out first. Very often we need to share brushes in school in order to make sure that everybody gets a chance to paint. But sometimes some people don't do as good a job cleaning out the brush as others. So we wash out the brush first. The second thing that we're going to do is make sure that we use the brush really well so we can keep the brush nice for other people to get to use. One such thing is a technique I call smash brushing.
Smash brushing. I've heard you say that before, Mr. Miller.
Yes, smash brushing is when you take the brush and you literally smash the bristles down onto the piece of paper and then try to paint with it. The problem with smash brushing is that it winds up bending all of the bristles so that all the bristles don't align very well anymore. As an example, here is a brush that has been treated really, really well. And this is a brush that has been smashed. Smash brushing technique. Notice how all the bristles are sticking out. There's a hair over here. And this can make marks on your paper that you didn't intend to make. The next thing that I want you to know is, how do you use the brush? Well, I'm going to show you using the color black. First things first, what we want to do is dip our brush in the water, and then we use the water to activate the paint. Now, when we paint, there's a couple of different techniques. You can use the side of the brush like so. You could very gently use the tip of the brush to make a very thin line. You can use the side of the brush to make very thick lines, like so. But we never smash our brush down. Also, always remember to wash your brush out before you go to another color, so that way you can keep the colors in your palette nice and fresh. You can mix colors together, but save that for mixing them on the paper. Dragons in Chinese culture are usually associated with different elements of nature: water, wind, fire, earth, sky, metal, sometimes just power in general. So what I'm going to do is choose one of these aspects, and I think I'm going to choose, perhaps, let's do a fire dragon. Now, fire typically is seen as red, orange, and yellow within the red, orange, and yellow part of the spectrum of the rainbow. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to get to use some of these other colors. So what I'm going to do is start with the brightest color first, which is yellow. I'm going to rinse my brush out, and then I'm going to hit the belly of the dragon with the yellow. It's important when you're painting to understand that the more water you have, the more see-through or transparent the watercolor is going to be. But the more water you have, the more the paint will flow. So take your time and don't worry if you go over the lines, because part of the fun of watercolor is where some of these colors get to meet. Whenever you're painting, you want to think about a little bit of a plan for yourself. So my plan is this. I'm going to do the rest of his body, with the exception of some of the more decorative areas like the spikes and the mustache. I'm going to do the rest of his body with orange. But where I'm going to add the red is I'm going to use the red for some of the shadows and turns of or edges of the dragon. So that way he's not 100% orange or 100% red in any particular area. If you find that one area has too much color than another, you can always use your brush and just kind of blend that area in a little bit. After I utilized orange for the upper body, I used red and did some of the edges of the dragon to give him a little bit more pop and give you that idea of fire. I didn't completely paint every single area with red, just some of the edges. Now what I'm going to choose to do is use some of these cooler colors like purples and blues in order to color the eyes. So for instance, maybe I'll use some light purple. What makes it light is a little bit more water for the eyes. And then I'll do the same color for his mustache. You don't usually see purple in fire unless it's a different kind of gas, but I think that'll look good. I did blue for the spines, the horny spines on the sides of his head. I think this looks great, but it also feels like it's missing something. So I'm gonna add some background elements to give my dragon a little bit more of a story. This doesn't look like much, but what I'm picturing is that kind of dark, craggy area like you see in the nether of Minecraft. Now it's just a matter of painting it with like black, blue, and red. I'm going to use my side brush technique to give it a really craggy texture, but be careful, you don't want to overlap on the dragon itself. This will give it a nice rocky texture, and maybe we'll add some red for like lava. So I did the front area as black. This X area is going to be purple, and the back area is going to be blue. I realize I made this rocky area purple, but that's also getting in the way of his purple mustache, so something has to change. So I decided to add a layer of red on his mustache to really set it outside of that purple. Now the background is blue, and that really sets it apart from these other two colors. Now that I did the black, the purple, and the blue in that order, the black should be dry enough for me to add some of these fiery looking colors. I added bright yellow and some red to add a sort of like fiery, like lava-like rock. So I decided to finish off my fire dragon with a sort of fiery sunset sky, and I did a light wash of the black for the smoke from volcanoes coming up. There's many different ways of coloring your dragon, and you don't have to do a fire dragon. If you used green, browns, and yellows, you could make an earth dragon. If you used blues, green, blues, and purples, you could make a water dragon. If you used black and yellow, you could make a thunder dragon. Or if you felt bold enough, you could use all the colors and make a rainbow dragon. I'm curious to see what you come up with. Thank you for watching this video on painting your Chinese dragon, and for me and Mr. Monocle, I say good day.
We said good day.